Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and I am a happy, happy, happy man today because I have as my guest Mary Alice Monroe, a wonderful author and a good friend. Just welcome, Mary Alice.
Oh, thanks, Jackie. I feel like I'm sitting next to you in the. We should have a fireplace, just sitting over here with a little glass of wine or something.
Yeah, it's been way too long since I've seen you in person, and I miss you too. But what a summer you had! 2 books this year already.
Yes, I know it. It's kind of a cool thing to be at this point in my age in my life and have my career getting even bigger. So it goes to show that time has no meaning.
Hey, I'm telling you, wait till you get to my age.
Well, honestly, when you think about it, it's true that, I feel very excited about what's happening in my writing right now. I feel I'm tackling even more new projects that I haven't tackled before. And I think I'm writing at the top of my game, and I have a lot of energy, and I just think, wow, I get wisdom on top of all that.
There is truth that you add layers as you go through life. And some people, such as you, get better, and better.
I like to think that it's, I understand that, there's a certain energy when you're starting out in one's career, and it's hunger. And it is, desire for success. But when you've had all that, and that's why I approached middle grade fiction, you start looking back and saying, I have things I really want to say to generations, including young children, that I'm taking a bigger picture view of 20 years of work with the environment. And I have things I want to say.
Yes, I don't know what that says for me, because I love the Islanders.
I think I have so many adults love it.
Serious. You could just and relax and enjoy that book, get the message of the book, love the characters of the book. And I don't know, it was just an easy glide through that book.
Well, you know what was special? I remember, if I asked you what some of your favorite books are, most heartfelt books, it'll probably be something you read when you were younger. Mm-hmm. I know The Secret Garden is
I just almost said that.
It's just, for me, it encompasses a lot. And I don't think I understood at the time. I liked a lot of books. I still do. But there's some books that seem to have made an imprint on you. And you don't know why that is. And I think when I write for the children now, especially that 8 to 12 group that middle grade is known for, although I'm talking to high school kids, and like you said, adults will love it too. There's a note you're hitting if you are not just dealing on children's issues, but larger life issues that, and especially with the environment brought in, which is a universal, that touches chords in a simple, honest way. And with this book, one thing about writing for 8 to 12, I've written picture books before. And those are clear, simple. It's more about the rhythm, and it's almost poetry. But when you do middle grade book, the difference between that and young adult is of course, sensitivity to issue. There's no sex, rock and roll in middle grade, but the broader issues of family relationships, shame, where I belong in the world, coming of age, all that's middle grade stuff. And those, I think we all can be sensitive to that. And of course, the setting of Deweese Island is such a beautiful spot that people wonder, is it real? Is it true? And I'm so happy to say, indeed it is. Deweese Island is a real
I accepted it, hook, line, and sinker. Oh, that's exactly what I did.
It's a real place. It's literally just like I wrote. It's on the uh intercoastal waterway, and you have to get there by boat. So you can only approach it from most of us by ferry, and there are no cars, no stores. It's a wildlife sanctuary, bird sanctuary, and there's a lot to save on Deweese. And that's what makes it ideal for these kids. And that's my canary singing. And I want you to know,
All
I
right.
covered him up with a black cloth and he's still singing.
Let him trill away. But two quick questions about the Islanders. Number one, I heard there's going to be a sequel. Is that
It's all
true?
done. I finished it.
How did you sneak
Oh.
that by me and I did not know it? And then all of a sudden I hear there's going to be a sequel. And I
The
was
sequel, it's called Search for Treasure. It's actually a series, The Islanders, Search for Treasure. And it's comes out June 14th. We're very excited. I'm going to do a cover reveal next week. And I was, to be honest with you, I think we all wanted this book to do well, because I had some things I wanted to say, like I said, that I really was about unplugging. And I think it was timely, but I didn't expect it to do so well. I mean, you're always delighted. I think it hit higher in the New York Times, #2, Jackie. That was my debut number. And I was, of course, flabbergasted and excited, but I also knew I must have hit a note with the public.
I'm telling everybody out there, I don't care if you're 80 like I am, you can love this book.
Yeah.
The characters are so rich, the message is so strong. I have a 9-year-old granddaughter.
Perfect.
Who sounds just like the 3 kids in the book. I mean, you got the voice. You got the voice. But my other question, before I forget it, Mary Alice, one of the 3 characters is named Lovey.
Yeah, I know it. Yep, she is. That's
Is
little Lovey.
you never said anything in the book.
I just sort of put that in there to let people, it's a gift.
It was because I'm reading it and I'm thinking, Lovey, I've heard this name before.
That's the child that was born in the Beach House, the very first in the Beach House series. At the very end, she was born. And so now she's, even though it's been in fact more than 11 years, she's 11 years old in this book. And that is the child. Her mama is Toy. Toy works at the aquarium. So it's fun to be at this. I have a community in my books with the Beach House series continuing, and now these books and the Low Country series, it's very much like it is here in the Low Country, where if you surf or if you're involved in the aquarium or any natural event or world, we know each other, we see each other, and it would be very normal for all these people in all these communities to interact at some level.
But you were not born in the South, from what I remember.
No, just as Pat Conroy always said, it was another lifetime I was.
But
I came home when I came here. I did.
And I love that. But
Yeah.
when in your life did you come to the Low Country, Charleston?
I was late 40s, early 50s. It was 1990, 98 or 99, I think 99. And we had been coming here for 15 years. All the years we lived in Washington, DC, we came here and always loved it. But, my husband was at the NIH, and he couldn't just choose a place because he liked the environment. He was a career building, as we talked about earlier. So when he was offered head of child psychiatry here at MUSC, the Medical University, it was an easy yes. And he had known the people and talked, but you just have to wait for that position to open up. Mm-hmm. And when it did, we came. And the very first thing I did was to join the Island Turtle team. So that was in 1999. I was one of the early members of the team. And I always...
You've been part of the turtle.
I've been on the turtle team.
Yeah.
And I still am.
Yeah.
I know. And it's still really important to me. And it touches in a lot of my books, not just the beach house, but the turtles are in the Islanders.
Yeah.
And I think it's this iconic critter, millions of years old, and we don't know why we are so enamored with it. It could be that it's just such an instinctive animal. It's unusual. It's a dinosaur, but we relate to it. Children love turtles. And everywhere I speak, they have a turtle story to share, especially if they're from this neck of the woods. And I just, it's a curious thing about the sea turtle, but I like to bring it in because one of the things the turtles do is they act on instinct. And I think that's what we all need to pay close attention to, especially children.
What I love is the story of the turtles. Their birth and their march to the sea.
Yeah.
You always, it seems like you always mention that very, 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 very small number survive.
One in 1,000.
It is nature in its rawest form. But it's also, every time you read about it, it's a jubilation. And I love that. I mean, there is a sad side to it, but it's a jubilation. And the Islanders, the children being there and getting to see the march. And the one
I think what's really
and
what I loved, what I loved about the turtles in this one is the children, other than Lovey, who she's a low country girl. She's sort of the Hermione Granger of the group. And she, the know-it-all girl. And I like to give girls that. She's the girl I wanted to be when I was her age. And I like that the boys, and it was punishment. They get in trouble in this book, and it was punishment. So it wasn't like, oh, we love turtles, let's join the turtle team. No, it was punishment. They had to do dawn patrol. And it was and this is what I'm trying to get the message out, through getting outdoors, through turning off the computers or the TVs or the phones that are always in front of the faces, and being compelled to get out. Oh, this is boring. I hate this. We're all going to hear that negative. But if you compel them to get out, and you join them like Honey joined them, Honey got back on the team. And I think that's an important point in the story, is that the grandmother just didn't say, go on out and tend those turtles. She went out with them. And that joining is a learning and is something they share. And before you know it, the key is the kids think it's fun. They get into it. But no child is going to willingly turn off that computer or the laptop or the phone. They're so addicted to it. It's really a withdrawal. And yet the American Academy of Pediatrics can't be more clear that we have to unplug our children, that an hour a day outside is important for their mental and physical health, and that it's not something a parent can just say to do. They have to model the behavior. So all this is in the story. When you have a grandmother who was depressed at the beginning, and the healing of
she saves them. I mean,
yes,
everybody evolves.
Yes. And in the next one, it's really interesting, A Search for Treasure, which, I wasn't sure how I was going to handle the internet, but the reality is that we all use it. We're on it right now.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to be realistic for my readers and for the mothers and dads and grandparents who are, a lot of them are reading The Islanders with the kids. And I really love that. And I wanted to show in the next book how Honey because Honey's now in book 1, she comes out of her depression and gets back to the nature center and is kind of getting back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And on the second summer in book 2, she's recognizes she needs to use the internet and that there's value to it, but give them an inch, they'll take a mile, kind of an attitude, and is being very mindful of how to use it, especially in the summertime without school.
I talk about the Islanders, but I just want to mention The Summer of Lost and Found.
Oh yeah, my other book. Yeah, where's the cover? There it is.
It was, it continued the Beach House series.
It did.
And instead of avoiding COVID, you, in a sense, embraced it.
I hit it
Plunged
hard.
right into it. You did. And
I was the first book out of the gate.
and yeah, it was that had that backdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a risky thing to do. And I think midway through, I was ready to pull my hair out because it was a very difficult book to write, but I didn't want to, let me go back. I mean, I chose to write it because I was stuck. That's what happened. I was like everybody else in the nation. I was up in the mountains. I couldn't get out. And so I was looking around and sheltering in place, and I realized that we were going through something epic. And I think even just now, just here we are, only a year later, we're looking back at the pandemic and how we went through it. And we're still kind of scratching our head, trying to remember and trying to figure out the impact it had. So I wrote it in real time, Jackie, which means I was watching what was going on in my life and what was going on in the lives of those I loved. And also the nation. I was paying attention in the same way as if I was, it's the same method as if I was studying whales, which
Right.
is the animal I'm studying now. You just watch, take notes, observe, and usually I take all this after a couple of years, create a story. I'm a structuralist, and then I write it. I was writing it as soon as I was feeling it. So I used the Beach House family because that was a family most of my readers knew and could identify with. And I wanted them to feel for the characters. And I had multi-generations. There's 3 generations in this book. And one of the things that impacted us was how the pandemic affected kids, young adults, and older people so differently. And by showing this, I wanted to remind us that we were all in it together. And actually, the good things that came out of it, I actually found that not only did my characters look at how they could change their lives, what they learned from the experience, but I did too. I couldn't have written that book and not have changed my life. And I made pretty dramatic changes in my life as a result of not just writing the book, but being so attuned to what I learned from the book. And that is this, Jackie. Each day is a gift.
Absolutely.
Live each day to the fullest. Now, we've heard that before, but I think having gone through the pandemic where death was a reality, that we all faced it and we saw people pass, loved ones. I lost several people. You realize I can't take for granted this day that I have. And if you look at that and you think, when my time comes, what is my legacy? What is the purpose of my life? Then that is what my characters had to realize, but also me, the author, had to realize. And it's pretty impactful. The pandemic was epic. It was like a wartime. And I did make changes, including my hair color. I'm more blonde. Did you notice?
Oh, absolutely, I did. My wife went blonde from brunette.
Yes, no one's going gray. We're all going blonde.
But here's the title of that book. When I got the book and I read it, and I don't know why, but it was sometime later that I thought about the title, and I thought, The Summer of Lost and Found. Yes, during that time, we all lost things, our freedom to go do this, but we found out things about ourselves and found out, like you said, that was the time. Before that, I didn't remember ever, when I would wake up every morning, I'd say, thank you, God, for another day.
Right.
I mean,
I think that's
found it. It was a perfect title and perfect story.
And I want to thank the author, Kristen Harmel. She came up with it. So Kristen, thank you.
Oh.
It really was, because I have to say that even though we did have losses, I think I like to think that many of us, if you look back and think, what did I learn? Many people have changed parts of their life with the way they go about doing things. And going back to the Islanders, it was a perfect fit, because those kids were in front of that computer all the time. And parents now they took time to play board games with their kids and to bake with their kids and to do, let's go out to the park. So there has been a shift in behavior. The question now is, are we going to keep it to remember?
Are we
So
going
I
to
think
learn?
it's a
Are we going to learn from what we found?
yes. Yeah, I know. And it's so easy to slip back into old patterns.
Absolutely.
I recognize that. I'm sure that's a topic of another book. Maybe I said, maybe I should do that. But I do feel that with book clubs or anytime there's a discussion that, and I've been told from book clubs, I get letters that this is a good discussion book, because to me, the best book club book is not just if it's a great book and everyone loved it. It's what discussion can evolve from the book that goes, there's 3 levels. One is discuss the book, you discuss the topics, but the highest level of book club discussion is when people reveal truths about themselves, how that book changed their lives, what made them alter or remember something good or bad. And when you can share that with the book club, that is a large amount of trust. And that's why that's the highest form, I think, of book clubs. So with the Summer of Lost and Found, I do think that people are sharing what they did during the pandemic, who they lost, what they found. And that's a good discussion. And I hope people have it, because we do not want to slip it under the rug. Yes, let it go. We want to remember what we went through, and we survived it.
Real quick, I love talking to you, but Beach House was made into a movie.
Yes.
Andy McDowell. Is there any follow-up?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussions, and I think COVID put the skids on a number of things, but now we're back in discussion again. So I'm hoping we'll see something very soon, very, very soon. And Jackie, I'll call you first.
But I was looking the other day, and this is a memory for me. But I was talking, you're doing the Wild Dunes.
Yes.
Things again. And several years ago, you were the kindest, sweetest person in the world to ask me to come down and participate in that. It's one of my best memories.
Oh, thank you.
Only wonderful company, my fellow authors who were there, who were just tremendous. Beautiful.
Do you have any pictures? I'm looking for pictures.
Surroundings. I mean, I don't know if I do or not, but I just remember everything was just golden.
Oh, thank you. Well, we have it. This is our 19th year this year that we've done it. And I'm excited. This year we're making it a weekend. It's January. It's Memorial. No, not Memorial. Martin Luther King weekend. Okay. And so it's 3 days, and I'm really excited because we're going to have the Friends in Fiction gang down.
I heard
most of them anyway. And all of them are talking about not just their most recent book, for them a lot of Christmas books, but we're talking about our favorite books and why. And I think it's going to provoke a really good discussion. And then on Saturday, we're doing independent workshops, and I'm taking people on boat trips if they want to come on to Dewey's. We're going to take you to Dewey's. So it's going to be very special. Jackie, come. Jackie, please.
I will look and see if I can. But, you are so great to do that. That is such a great thing that you do. And like you said, you've got a million things going on, Mary Alice.
You don't want to live in there. But actually, I'm so excited about what the possibilities are, though. I mean, I feel like even though we got through that summer of Lost and Found, I feel like I've re-energized. We have a renewed purpose. And I think the middle grade books are part of that. And my next book will reflect my thoughts as well.
Well, listen, this has been wonderful. I have enjoyed talking to you. I have missed you. I have kept up with you. And, because you do, you entertain us and educate us, which I think is a unique aspect. Some books we can read and we just say, oh, that was fun and whatever, and go on. but you educate us, Mary Alice, and
Thank you.
and that's a real blessing. It really, really, really.
I'm so grateful to hear you say that. I mean, I work, it's my life, my work is my life pretty much. And it's, yeah, to hear you say that means a lot, Jackie. Thank you.
It's true. And I mean it from my heart. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time. And we are so grateful to have spent this time with you.
Well, now I hope to see you in January.
All right. Okay.
You are the best. You are so much. You are, talk about experience though. Wow. I mean, every time I sit with you, you and I could talk for hours.
No, and we just picked right up from where we were before.
I know. I feel like we just scratched the surface today.
Yes. But anyway, this has been Jackie K. Cooper with his special guest, Mary Alice Monroe. Get those books and be on the lookout for the next Islander series. Thank you, dear Alice.
Thank you. Bye-bye.